Hello and welcome back to the technical guide to Factorio! Woo! So good. Okay, so between last time and this time, we have, as you can see by the map, completely encased our factory in a wall of death. The wall of death is a bunch of turrets with stone walls in front of them so the biters can't come up and eat stuff. We also have some gates in key positions so we can leave from any direction that we want. I've also done some minor tweaks to the overall system, including adding a variety of production modules, which can create additional product out of these furnaces. This purple line fills up as it actually makes these steel plates, and once that fills up, it'll create a new steel plate consuming no ores. So we'll get a free steel plate right there, which slightly increases the production of our system. But outside of that, we now move on to what we will do this time. This time, what we are going to do is take our engines and our ammunition, and we're going to build ourselves a tank, which we have down here. And we're going to take that tank and go sock it to a bunch of disgusting biters as we take the fight to them this time. We will then secure ourselves a new position for the mining of stone, where we build our first colony outside of the factory proper. And in order to do that, we also produce fast transport belts, which we'll use to transport the resources we get from the colony back to the factory. But without further ado, let's get into it and kill some biters. Okay, so we definitely have all of the resources we need to produce a death machine of unknown proportions. That's right, people. We have in our inventory everything for a single tank. 16 engine units, 15 steel plates, 15 iron gear wheels, and 5 advanced circuits. And we shall produce said tank immediately. Now, in order to run the tank, we're going to need a couple things. We're going to need ammunition for the tank, which we got. We have 100 piercing rounds. And we're going to need fuel for the tank, which is pretty darn important, because if we don't have fuel, the tank's not going to run. Ugh, I hate pipes. We can't get around this way. We're going to go around this way. So what we're going to run this tank with, weirdly, is going to be coal. I know, you didn't expect that. You can actually... Oh, we have a bunch of coal in our inventory already. That's the best. Yeah, ends up you can actually run a tank on coal. I would not recommend trying this in real life, but I mean, in Factorio, it seems perfectly fine. There's no big issue with it, don't worry about it. So here's our tank. We're just gonna point it out this gate. And when we look at our tank, we just left click it. You can see we've got fuel slots. So we're just gonna fill those with coal. And then we've got 2 slots for weapons. We have a tank cannon, which uses tank shells, which we don't have any right now. And we have the vehicle machine gun, which uses these piercing rounds, or the normal rounds, either way. And then there's also the trunk of the tank, which is, I mean, a thing. You can put stuff in the tank. I don't know why you would. I mean, it's not really the kind of thing you want to do that with, but, you know. So, in order to switch between your cannon and your machine gun, you have to press Q. We've already done that, so you can see our machine gun is green before the cannon was red. And what we're gonna do is head out and destroy some biter bases. Hello, biters. Guess what we're gonna do to kill this base? Watch this. Bada boom! Get wrecked. Yeah, that's totally how I destroy most biter bases. It's kind of a strange thing. Running them over does tend to be the most effective way to destroy these bases with a tank. It's kind of strange. I love it personally. I think it's great. It does do a significant amount of damage to your tank, but you know, that's why we have repair packs. It's just what we do. So we have to destroy these bases, one, to protect ourselves, but not really to protect ourselves, because we have a fairly comprehensive defensive line, and we could hold out really forever. But the other thing that we need are these things called alien artifacts. The 4th level of science pack, which is a purple science pack, is built exclusively out of those alien artifacts. One alien artifact creates, I believe, 10 purple science packs. So by taking out these hives, we get access to the highest level of technology once we actually do the technology to produce those science packs to begin with, which we don't have yet because, you know, we're scrubs. Disgusting scrubs. Okay. So let's see if we can find an actually legitimate alien base, because so far we haven't faced anything particularly dangerous. Ooh, that was not getting inside. Come on. There we go. So alien bases consist of spawners, which are these things that we've been running over so far, of which there are 2 separate varieties. There's biters and spitters. Spitters are a long-ranged enemy. Biters are a short-ranged enemy. And I think right now we're still at the point that they're only spawning biters, which has a lot to do with the amount of pollution that we put out. But in addition to these spawners, there's also these things. Medium worms, and I mean large and small worms too, which are stationary turrets for the biters. So we're going to get in there, and you're going to see how those worms come out of the ground and attack us. Of course, we're just going to do what we do all the time, and we're just going to run them over with a tank, because we're a boss like that. And these are fairly small biter dens that we've been fighting so far. Some biter dens can end up having like 10, 15 large worms like that, and assaulting it with a tank is practically impossible at that point, because we pretty much get destroyed before we even get in close, which is not the best. That's where the tank cannon comes in handy. Man, there are not very good biter dens around here. I mean, I guess that's for the best. Do we really want a challenge with the biters? I think it's just best to, you know, kill them and then never look back. So we took out a few biter dens. That's nice. I mean, cheerio to that. I love it. So good. So let's return to base and then contemplate our next move. I think one thing that we need to consider is the production of a colony out here somewhere. We just ran over like all of those guys. Ah, you're the worst. We need to consider building an actual colony out here, and this is pretty much the perfect position for the colony. So what we lack is stone, and we've lacked it from the beginning of our journeys. And at this point, really all the stone that we have has been mined up, and there's really not much of it. So what we're going to do is build a colony out here on that particular patch of stone. In order to do that, we're going to need some turrets, and we're going to work on a bit of infrastructure to create a new type of conveyor belt. So there are a variety of types of conveyor belts that we can build. There's a normal transport belt, the fast transport belt, and eventually, let's see if we can find it. Should be under here. Yep, express transport belts. Each of these is faster than the last, with the yellow one being the slowest, the blue one being the fastest, and the red one being right in the middle. Now I'm going to level with you, the blue one's pretty darn useless. Never find any good use for those express transport belts. They're not the best. But the red ones are actually really good. One great use for them is to connect our closer colonies to the actual main facility itself. Once we get more far off colonies, we'll start using rail lines, but those are rather expensive and take a lot of space to actually build, and that's space that we would have to defend, and the less resources we can use to defend things, the better. So we're going to, instead of focusing on the production of those particular things, we shall build ourselves some fast transport belts and use those to move our stone. So let's see the fast transport belts. We need iron gears and 1x transport belt, which is the best. So we can just build it right here. We'll have one picker pick from here, another picker pick from here, and we will begin producing those. And producing them does take quite a while. They are a pretty, in terms of overall like objects in the game, these fast transport belts do take quite a while to actually build. So we do need a production line, unlike the normal transport belts, which are done pretty quick, so I tend to just, you know, just build them whenever I need them, because, you know, it's nice. So we're running out of copper. This is not the best. This is not the greatest. And by the way, something I think I forgot to ever mention, and something that I tend to forget in general, these drills, you can see their area of influence by that light blue area around them. They actually drill one block out from their actual structure. So, whereas I'd been previously putting them in a very tight space, one next to the other, that's actually not necessary. We can put them 2 blocks away and they'll still mine everything up. That's something I often forget, but is pretty good to keep in mind. That means we can actually have like conveyor belts intertwining between them. So just noting that down there. Okay. So we're producing copper, we're producing fast transport belts. Now what we need to do is begin to secure our stone colony out there. And how, prithee, are we going to do that? Well, my friends, I shall tell you soon enough. What we need are walls, and we have some walls here, but not nearly enough. So what we're going to... Oh, that's actually a lot of stone. It's a lot more stone than I thought would be there. That's nice. So what we're going to do... the stone production that we set up yonder is completely empty. But I left the infrastructure for the actual smelting of the stone in place. So we are going to use a box, and we'll take the stone, place it onto this conveyor belt, which we should probably do with a fast inserter. And this will produce a bunch of stone bricks that will eventually be used to create walls down over here. Right around here. So we're going to wait for the production of those walls just a bit. In the meantime, I'm going to build another set of steam engines because, as you can tell by the electric network, we are right on the edge. We're actually making less energy than we need right now. So we're going to build another one of these steam engine sets and then go from there. See you on the other side, people. Okay. So I've set up the next bank of steam engines right over here. We've got a bunch of coal running into them, and we do have an excess of energy even at night, as you can see, which is the best. So we're going to take our tank out. We did get a bunch of walls as well, and we're going to head down to our nice little patch of stone and claim it in the name of us because, you know, biters don't get to have resources. It's not like they even do anything with resources. I mean, they're just mindless little insect creatures. Who cares about whether or not they have resources? Nobody is going to start a committee for the ethical treatment of biters, because that's terrible. Okay, so what we're going to do is completely enclose this little section of stone, because it's ours now, and no one else is allowed to have it. We're going to build ourselves a little gateway to enter, because right now we are actually kind of barred from entering our own colony, which generally creates some form of revolution within the area, which is not the best, quite frankly. I don't really appreciate that. There we go. Okay. And then, do we actually legitimately only have 2 turrets? Okay, we can work with this. This will not be the most well-defended colony in the world, but, I mean, it's a colony nonetheless. I mean, sometimes you gotta make do with what you got. Ow, we just hit a wall. We're gonna need to actually probably, make new turrets at some point. That's probably the best. Okay. So we'll put a couple drillers up here. And the next thing we need to do is get energy out to this colony. Of course, we cannot allow any of our colonies to become self-sufficient, because if they become self-sufficient, they have a potential of revolting. I mean, technically, there's no workers in there to actually do the revolution, but trust me, we need to keep them dependent on the mother state for as long as we possibly can, or else, for all you know, there could be a robot uprising. It's not unheard of, people. Have you ever heard of Skynet? Yeah, we don't want that to happen to us. Okay, so we're going to put some power lines out to there. Right now it's completely undefended because, of course, those turrets run on electricity, and without electricity, there's nothing for them to run on, and it's going to get killed by biters, isn't it? It's the end of our colony. It was over before it even began, people. That's quite sad. Quite sad indeed. I'm shedding a single tear for a nice colony. Rip in peace, colony. Nah, colony's gonna be fine, don't worry about it. So, with one more of these long electric poles, which the biters just seem to not care about killing unless they happen to be actually close to the colony. We'll send all the power out to here, and we can just throw down a couple power lines, and now the entire area is completely powered up. But there is still a particular issue of getting all of those resources from our nice little colony down here up to our factory proper. And in order to do that, we're going to use some fast transport belts. So I don't know how many we have produced. I think we had like 25 plus previously. Let's check. Oh, we got a lot. I mean, I say we have a lot, but in reality, we don't have all that much. Ends up, these are pretty long distances we're going across, and we're going to need a lot of resources to do this, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. So we'll probably move the entire smelting of stone over to this lower left quadrant of the factory. Right down here instead of way up here, so we don't have to move the stone quite as far, because I mean right now it's quite a distance we'd have to move it to actually get it to the stone refining area, and I don't like that. So we're going to send the stone up here, and it's going to go through a fast underground belt the moment we can actually build one of those. So I guess we'll just ignore that for now, and we will send this entire belt up yonder. So we should get it to round about there, and then send it up. Now, biters don't actually attack random conveyor belts, which is really quite nice. I don't know why they don't do that either. They don't like killing electric poles. They don't like killing they don't like killing conveyor belts. But they do seem to like killing turrets, which also like to kill them. I'm not certain that these biters really think out their actions very much. Get wrecked! Oh, we are running out of health on this tank here. We probably shouldn't run into this last spawner, because that might tip the tank over the edge. Which, quite frankly, given that tanks are worth actually quite a bit of money, we probably shouldn't do. There we go. That takes out the nearest biter colony to our nice human, well, robot colony, because it's not really humans. It's really mostly robots. Once again, robot revolt? Don't know about it. So we're going to need more fast transport belts, and we'll probably also need some additional defenses down there at some point. But that gives the gist of the stone colony that we're going to create. And that will bring us for now to the end of the episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. Next time, what will we do next time? Well, we're probably going to have to start thinking about working on the production of the rocket parts, which are our ultimate goal. So we'll start looking into what we need there and, you know, head towards an end game scenario. We may also get drones in the relatively recent future, so that'll also be nice. But until then, thanks for watching, and of course, Enjoy the rest of your day.